Alright, so this is your geometry construction project. So you have to complete at least 16 of the following constructions using a compass and a ruler. You will not need a protractor on this. You are not going to be measuring any angles. You will only use a compass and a ruler. Each of them should be done on a separate sheet of paper. It needs to be copy paper, not loose leaf paper. You do not need to have lines on your paper. It needs to be blank paper. All of your compass marks should be visible. Each of your constructions should have a title. You need to label any points, and then you need to have a final label telling what the construction is. So for example A, you could write for your final label, segment A, B, is congruent to segment C, D. Okay, so you have to do at least 16 of these. There are more than 16 on here. I think there are actually 18 of them total. And so if you want to do those other two for bonus points, or to help make up if you mess up a little bit on some of the other ones, then I would recommend doing that. But this is one that you can certainly use the internet for. You can also look in your textbook, and I'm going to show you where you can look in your textbook to find some of them in there. Each of the constructions is worth 5 points, so 5 times 16 gives you 80 points, and then the other 20 points comes from putting them either in a booklet or on a poster board. So if you look over near where the filing cabinets are, right next to the filing cabinets, the poster at the bottom, that's someone that put all of their constructions on a poster board. Okay, so you can do that, and I'm going to show you an example in a minute of one that did it in a booklet. So the two that are you can do for bonus, you can pick any of them to skip or to try for bonus, but they're worth 5 points. So you've got 10 bonus points that you can do there if you would like. So if you look in your book where it says construction, congruent segments and angles, or if you look at this page, the very first one says to construct a line segment congruent to a given line segment. And so that's what you're going to do if you look on that page in the book. You're going to construct segments that are congruent to each other. And then angles that are congruent to each other. We need to construct an angle that is congruent to a given acute angle, or you can do the one that's congruent to a given obtuse angle. And so that one may show up in that lab. So they have construction by them if they are a construction lab. Now if you look here, this one's dealing with congruent triangles. You may or may not have that one on your thing, but a perpendicular through a point not on a line, that one may or may not be on your project. But anyway, some of them are found in your book, so that's where you want to look. Go to your table of contents and then look and see at the constructions and go to that page and see if that is possibly one that you are doing in your project. So I'm going to show you an example of one from several years ago. He did a really, really good job on his. He got a perfect score. He did not mess up on anything. So this is what his project looks like. Geometry construction project. And I'll show you. It's by Con McCandlish. You may or may not know who that is, but he did a really, really nice job on this project. So the first one, he has his title. And the way that he got his title, and the way you can get your title, you are to construct a line segment congruent to a given line segment. So he titled it, a line segment congruent to a given line segment. Okay? And then he said segment AB is congruent to segment CD. And so he has a segment AB, and then this right here is our compass mark. Okay? And so I'm going to flip over to one later. All of these here are compass marks. They were not made using a pencil and just drawn in. Okay, so if you just take your pencil and draw them in, that's not what it's going to look like. You are going to actually need to use a compass. Now I have some in class that you can use, but you cannot take them home. So if you want to use them in class, that is fine. You cannot take them out of this room. Do not take them to another class to work on them. If you want to come in here during lunch or during another class to do that, then that is fine with me, but you cannot take them and not return them. You have to leave them in this room, okay? So this is another example of a compass mark. They're arcs. And then there's one You got a lot of compass marks. And so I'm not expecting you to know how to do all of these constructions just off the top of your head. I'm not expecting you to know how to do any of them really off the top of your head. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you can actually look online and find some of them. So I have found a website. I'm going to show you. So here's a website. It is called www.mathisfun.com/geometry/constructions.html. I'm going to look at the angle bisector one. And if you look at your thing, that is going to be G, bisect a given angle. So if we look at it, you're going to hit the play button. And it shows you how to actually use your compass. You'll watch it. And so that segment right there bisected the angle. Now when it says bisect a given angle, you draw the angle and then you're going to use your compass and your ruler to bisect it. So whenever it says construct a line perpendicular to a given line through a given point on the line, you are going to draw in a line and you're going to put a point somewhere on that line. Okay? And so if you look, there are a lot of these on here. Now this one isn't on your thing. It's not one that you have to worry about, but it is kind of cool to see how they work. So not all of them may show up on this particular one, but if you will Google, you'll probably find a video that shows you exactly how to do it. I am not expecting you to do these all by yourself. You are more than welcome to look them up online. So if y'all have time after a lesson and y'all want to look one up on the computer, y'all can do that and you can put it on the smartboard and all of y'all can follow along and y'all can do it in class if y'all have time after your lesson. So that's what you can do there. And then you just need to put your in a booklet or you can put it on a poster board. Now I have had people that'll take their paper and they will fold their pages and make a booklet like this. And so they'll have a bunch of pages folded together. And so they have, you know, their front page, and then you open it and you'll put A here and then B, and then you put C and D, and you would just keep going. Like you can do it that way too if you want. But that is up to you how you do it. You do need to make sure to do it on blank paper. Do not do it on loose leaf paper. It needs to be on copy paper or something like that. So I'm not providing that paper for you. Do not ask the substitute, Ms. Cannell, to get the paper. You need to either get it from your house or you need to go buy some at the store, but you need to bring your own paper to use for that, okay? So that is your geometry construction project for the 6 weeks. You need to do at least one a day. Start now so that you can make sure that you finish them, because you may have to come back and watch this video again so that you can understand what I was asking you to do. But these do take a little bit of time, so you don't want to wait until the very last minute, because if you're confused about it, then you don't really have a lot of time to try and work through that if you wait until the last minute to get started on it. Okay, so that's your project there.